1986 marked the artistic zenith of several English bands that first emerged in the early 80s. I'm thinking of Killing Joke with their Brighter Than a Thousand Suns album. I'm thinking of Spandau Ballet with Through the Barricades. And this band, Talk Talk, from the album The Color of Spring, the track Life is What You Make It. Those echoey guitars, that certain tone, it makes the song. I can't quite describe it. It kind of reminds me of the tone that Simple Minds were using around that time. Or kind of a little bit like U2.
Baby, that's what you make it.
The rhythm component is somewhat more busy, dense than in the tracks that we were listening to from The Party's Over.
Don't you
Notice how that echoey, sustained guitar meshes in with the rising, luminous glow of the synthesizers underneath it. I'm also thinking of arrangements and sounds heard on Ice House albums from this period. The track Sidewalk by Ice House was coming to mind. It's amazing how that piano plays this simple ostinato pattern that gives it cohesiveness, and yet it really is, in the overall scheme of things it's just second fiddle to all the looser like sound effects that are being laid by guitar, by synthesizer. I like the arrangement of the vocals. Like, you've got him somewhat in the middle, but slightly, you've got these background vocals that are kind of faint, kind of echoey almost, singing like sustained vowels on certain lines, and it's all got kind of an almost dreamlike quality to the vocals. Hear that organ, that really faint organ just rising up.
Baby, that's what you make it. Celebrate it. Anticipated.
wonder how this song came together because taken to its like bare bones, just the melody itself, that ostinato pattern. It doesn't seem like much, but it really becomes something a whole lot more when all these sounds and layers and textures are added together. It's like I wonder was it like co-composed in the studio or did he just write it on a piano and kind of hear all these nuances and arrangements as the whole thing developed. And have all the other parts laid out. Let's see. Written by Mark Hollis and Tim Friese-Greene. Oh, pianist here. And so I guess just like an idea between the two of them, but it just it's greater than the finished song is greater than the sum of its parts.
Nothing can change it. Love's what you make it. Love's what you make it. Love's what you make it.
That guitar is being played by David Rhodes, who has tons and tons of credits on Discogs, and a very familiar name. Played on the third Peter Gabriel album, the Melting Face album. Played on the one after that, Security, or the fourth self-titled album, titled Security in some markets. Also played on So. Yeah, I recognize those kind of tones from like Red Rain, maybe. Oh, let's see. Played with Rick Springfield. No, he didn't. He was on the track I Go Swimming on the Hard to Hold soundtrack, credited to Rick Springfield, even though it's got several other artists on it. Mostly Peter Gabriel's right-hand man throughout the year, and he was in Random Hold, who had kind of a scattered discography, a bunch of things released here and there, like EPs. The album The View From Here is, one of the best albums in 1980 is Etceteraville, released on Passport Records, which was comprised of several like EPs and album tracks released in the UK by Random Hold, produced by Peter Hamill, and they toured with Peter Gabriel on his Melting Face tour. It's interesting to find how some of these acts that are all quite have a lot of accomplishments under their belt in the annals of art rock, art pop, and how some of their personnel have overlapped over the years. Yeah, written by the recently deceased Mark Hollis, the vocalist here, co-composed with a newer member, Tim Friese-Greene, or Tim Friese-Greene. Sorry if I mispronounced it either or both those times. And who was not on The Party's Over. And I believe he may have been somewhat behind the development of their sound and style. Life's What You Make It, the third track off The Color of Spring, an album that had a lot of guest musicians. Steve Winwood plays organ on one track, not this one, but the one before it. Actually he plays on a few tracks. I actually never knew that until I looked at the credits right now here on Discogs. It's funny, that would have been the same, this being the same year, this released in March 1986, so about 5 months before Winwood had his huge comeback that year with Back in the High Life and the single Higher Love. Yeah, little did Winwood know what a big year 1986 would be for him. Oh yeah, and some Morris Pert also plays at least one track on this album. Morris Pert of Brand X. But overall, it's got some guest musicians. It's got like the nucleus of Talk Talk, the people that we first met on the Parties Over, Paul Webb and Lee Harris, and but creative-wise, it's the work primarily of it's the concepts of Mark Hollis and Tim Friese-Greene co-writing together, building layers off rather simplistic ideas, but an effective whole is formed. Even if what I'm really getting at there is that the song that we just heard might not have really come across all that effectively had it just been played solo, unaccompanied on a piano, or unaccompanied or transposed to a guitar somehow. But with all those studio layers and everything, and the production sounds and the wizardry and the magic of it all, it turns into something a bit more effective. The lyrics I was looking at, I'll run through them very quick. Baby, life's what you make it, can't escape it, don't you hate it, don't backdate it, beauty is naked. Don't backdate it. Beauty is naked. Celebrate it, anticipate it. Yesterday's faded, nothing can change it, life's what you make it. Oh, so basically, don't regret the past because you've learned from it. You can't change it, you can only go forward. And it's up to you to make your life good. And anything that happened to you in the past doesn't take that ability away from you. It's inspirational. Anyway, Talk Talk, Life's What You Make It, from the 1986 album The Color of Spring, the band's third. And for more rubies and sapphires from this and the other Talk Talk albums of the 1980s, see the directory of English tea albums in the links below. Like and subscribe to be informed when the next video comes out. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most air-traveled tri-maximalist, signing off.